This episode of my layout design series using Train Sim World 2 shows you how to use the simulator to measure and design buildings and bridges. I also show you how to find details in the simulation world that will improve your layout. Before we start, I have to state that I'm not sponsored by Dovetail Games and I've purchased all the software used in this series. Measuring the height of structures needs a different technique to that shown in the previous episode. Let's find the height of the Aframe girder bridge. Using the Explore on Foot feature in the simulator, I moved along the track to the bridge. Here I measured the distance across the base of the A-frame and then halved it to start measuring the vertical height. Using a cheap plastic school protractor, I measured the angle of the side. I used the calculator on my phone to find the tangent of the angle. The height is the tan of the angle times the half measure of the base, giving a height of 13.5 meters. Whilst at the bridge on foot, look at the construction of the bridge. Count the number of girders and bracing pieces. See how they are attached to the deck of the bridge. Now move on to the road bridge at the right hand end of the layout and use the walking measure to determine the angle and width of the roadway and supports. Use trigonometry to measure the height of the curved span. Count the number of vertical supports. Finally, let's look at details in the area of the layout. Moving on to the station building, use the walking measure of 3 meters per second to find the boundaries of the sides. To get detailed sizes of doors, windows, etc., do what the true scale modelers do and count the bricks. A typical German brick is 240 mm long by 115 mm high. Don't forget to add 20 mm for the mortar joints. You will now need to select the external camera to enable you to fly around the building to inspect the roof details, etc. Finally, let's look at the details in the area of the layout. Exploring a simulation level is where you can really pick up on the small details often missed when examining photographs of a particular location. Take a look at the construction of the platforms, their roofs, catenary masks, signals, buffers, etc. You can spend many hours traversing a location and obtain masses of information. Another useful feature of train simulators is to help you create a realistic back scene. Explore to the boundaries of the layout and move the camera in the direction of the back scene. Use the display of the scenery in the distance to either form a template for a painting or capture a series of still images to put together as a panoramic picture for printing onto a long continuous image. Whichever method you choose, you can be sure that all the perspectives and scales are accurate, since it is modelled on a real 3D world. Don't forget, when Dovetail Games survey a route, they take thousands of pictures to help make the simulation as realistic as possible. You don't have to build an exact model of a simulated site. If you are building a freelance model, use elements from a simulation to help you with your layout. I hope you found this series useful, as I'm convinced that modern computer graphics can become another tool to improve your modelling. Check out some of my other content. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you there.